The past is a hard thing to get away from. It always finds a way to come back, and always in the most unexpected ways.
Jack Adler sounds like the name of a super spy. Someone that spends their days infiltrating top-secret laboratories, sipping martinis with women in small bikinis on the beach, saving the world one mission at a time. Instead, the only thing he's saving is, maybe, the sanitary conditions of the prison he works at. He had so many ambitions as a young adult, but now as he eases closer to 50, the only ambition he has is coming home to a quiet, peaceful house for once. And that's not happening anytime soon.
Both of you, kitchen, now.
Another day in paradise.
Jack's creaking joints carry him down the stairs to the scene of the crime. The busted shards of an old blue, truthfully, he didn't care for. It's his wife's mother's, so it just had to stay where everyone could see it.
Do you know how much that vase meant to me? Oh, but you had to go and ruin it with your stupid games. This is why I never buy anything nice anymore. Jack, get in here, now!
Speaking of his wife, well, with the way the morning is starting, it's only going up from here. Jack trudges into the kitchen as his son and daughter get an earful. She used to be so sweet, Mary Sue, like one of those diner waitresses that always call you darling. 20 long years.
Dad, it was Jenny, I swear!
Enough! Now go pick up those damn shards of glass before someone cuts their foot on them. Both of you are grounded for a month. Oh, make it snappy, too. It'll be 2 months if your butts aren't in the car in the next 15 minutes.
They tear off past Jack, not wanting to double their already long sentence.
Little terrors, both of them, I swear.
Aren't you being a little tough on them, dear?
No, you're being too soft on them. This whole country's gotten soft, and it's our parents' fault for how they raised us. I'm not making the same mistake.
Right, whatever. Seems like you've got everything handled, Mussolini. I better get going anyhow.
Don't you want breakfast before you go? I made eggs.
Didn't I tell you last night I'm meeting Ernie at Fresco's?
That was a lie. He just didn't want to eat his wife's runny eggs. He was already more than halfway to a headache. He didn't want a stomachache on top of it all.
Alright, fine. Let my cooking go to waste, why don't you?
Sorry. Thought I told you already.
You didn't, but it's fine. I need you to pick up milk on your way home. 2%, not whole milk like last time. Got it, Jack? 2%.
Yep, bye. Love you.
They share a quick kiss, as if that's all the contact they can bear between the two of them, and Jack's out the door. Janitor Jack. He needs a change, he thinks. Just a weekend to himself. Screw the family, they can handle themselves. He starts thinking about travel destinations with an ever-growing smile as he hops into his second-hand Civic, getting ready to slide the keys in and fire up the engine. Something stops him. Suddenly, an arm shoots out from the back seat and wraps itself around his neck. It's cold to the touch, like metal. He can't throw its grip. He's about to yell when a bitter-smelling rag covers his mouth. Chloroform. He tries honking the horn for help, his wife, a neighbor, anyone, but it only clicks. The bastard must have broken it. He's completely helpless. His eyelids grow heavy, and soon, he's out cold. He was wrong about the day only getting better from here on. The man in the backseat watches the rearview mirror with his piercing blue eyes, his only feature visible through his black ski mask. He waits as a young woman and her pug trot along the sidewalk. Once they're out of view, he quickly hops into the driver's seat, pushing Jack Adler into the back. The engine roars to life, and the mysterious man backs up and zips out of the neighborhood in no time. His eyes wander meticulously at all the cars passing by, memorizing their license plates on instinct, cautiously watching his speed around a few highway patrolmen making their rounds. It's all moving like clockwork. So far, so good. The man pulls around the back of a worn-down hotel. Flecks of the original teal green almost all peeled off the walls and crunching under his tires. He opens the car door and searches around the lot. He's prepared for this over the course of a week. He knows now's a low time for hotel guests. They're all either sleeping in or in the big city wandering the bustling streets. He also knows he's in a CCTV dead zone, a gap in their security, not that they usually had to worry about anything more than drunks and vandals. Today's different. The muscular-framed man yanks up the unconscious Jack Adler like he's lighter than air, drags him straight to a nearby room on the first floor. With the soft metallic click of the lock, the mysterious stranger gets to work. Jack's eyes slowly creep open, his head still swimming from the chloroform. His vision has had a hard time adjusting to the room bathed in shadows, but when he's finally coherent enough, he tries to move, but suddenly he's bound tight to a chair. And that's when one of the shadows starts to trudge over, loom over him, the man from before. He can hardly make out any of his features, just his hollow, piercing blue eyes and matted long hair. The man simply put his finger to shut the man up. Jack knowing if he didn't comply, it's likely he'd find the other man's fist buried within his skull in an instant. His captor takes off the gag, and Jack lets out a few uncontrollable whimpers, but keeps his lips sealed. He watches in terror-clouded eyes as the man fiddles around with a briefcase, pulling out a box he feared was some sort of torture device. Wordlessly, his captor trudges over and puts his hand on the man's shoulder, keeping him steady. He flicks a latch open on the device and places it around Jack's head, a loose tear sliding down his face.
Please, I have a family. I'm not...
Jack started again, but his captor stopped him right away, pressing his metal hand heavily on his throat. Jack closed his eyes tight as a laser scanner moved up and down his face, reading every little pore, scar, and birthmark that made Jack Jack. It felt like an eternity as Jack nervously shakes, but soon enough the machine let out a soft beep and the device was removed. Jack's eyes slowly opened, relieved he's still alive, but he can only enjoy it for so long. He felt the jab of a needle pierce his neck, and he slipped back out of consciousness. The man got to work quickly as the machine let out a constant mechanical drone. He brought out a long, slender box from his briefcase and opened the man's eyelids, finding the perfect shade of contact to match Jack's deep brown eyes. He selected a set and put them in within a second thought, the machine nearly done creating a perfect mask of his target. As it's finished its final touches, the man stripped Jack of his work clothes and got changed, looking less and less like a stoic assassin and more like a day laborer as the minutes ticked on. The man looked at himself in the mirror and paused as he zipped up his new work clothes, eyes peering down at his exposed chest and the bullet wound scar right at his heart. A moment passed, and he finished the ensemble with the completed mask. There are now 2 Jack Adlers in the room. There's nothing extraordinary about the building the man now calling himself Jack Adler drives to. It's quite literally just a concrete box. No windows, not the slightest bit of character. The average onlooker would guess it's a simple correctional facility. They'd be wrong. In fact, it's a supermax, housing some of the most dangerous criminal minds on the planet. Jack Adler's car pulls up to the security gate, stopping right on a high-tech scale, measuring the exact weight of the car, making sure it's not carrying any excess weight like a car bomb, all while it x-rays each and every centimeter for anything out of the ordinary. The imposter rolls down his window and taps his keycard on the terminal, then presses his thumb down on the fingerprint reader. It spins, processing. The screen turns green, and the hum of an intercom turning on fills the brief silence.
Sure looks like rain, don't it?
I always carry an umbrella with me, just in case.
Go on in, Jack. Hey, Mary Sue want to get the kids together this weekend? Ronnie Jr.'s been chomping at the bit to go to that new park on Westchester.
Saturday morning good for you? 9 a.m.?
Oh man, just made the little guy so weak. It's a date. Hey, and take it easy in there. Big mess to clean up at B Block. Brawl broke out again.
Never a dull moment.
No, sir.
The gate watchman's eyes follow Jack Adler's car as it passes through and heads for his parking spot, not a single suspicion occupying his mind. That was the first test, and the assassin passed. But now's the time for the real deal, the gauntlet. The man stops the car and gets to work right away, hopping in the back seat. fishing a few small plastic bags out from underneath his car seats, rolling up his pants and taping them inconspicuously to his legs. He then pulls a watch out from his pocket and wraps it tight around his arm. Satisfied everything's perfectly secure, he closes the car door and his feet pound to the prison entrance. The guards manning the security checkpoint nod in recognition and motion Jack to walk through the metal detector, not noticing him subtly fidgeting with his watch as he walks on by. All clear. The guards don't pay him a second mind as Jack continues on his way to the janitor's closet. The light steadily flickers on and off inside as he selects a mop, grabs a wheeled bucket, and snags a bottle of dish soap. He slides his gear to the nearest bathroom and uses the tap to fill up the bucket fast. Then the real work starts. His eyes are glued on the beaten wooden door as he rips bags off his legs and takes off his watch. Quickly, meticulously, he snaps together a few bits of plastic to make a small cylinder, pours in a few different chemicals, and places a cover over it all. Then he tears through the leather coating around the watch band, revealing a small nest of wires. This part requires more concentration. One wrong move and his explosive device would either be fried and rendered completely useless, or it'd blow up in his hand. Obviously, neither outcome would be ideal. Carefully, with steady, practiced hands, he feeds the wire in their proper spots. One bomb, check. He slides it in a plastic bag, seals it tight, and carefully submerges it in his wheeled bucket. He's about to reach out for the dish soap when the door hurriedly opens.
Jack, that really you? The hell are you doing up here so early?
Kids were making a racket all morning. Thought my head was going to explode from the migraine.
So your solution's finding peace and quiet in a prison? Let me know how that works. You missed the action this morning. You came in just in time for a cleanup, though. Might have to run off some more hydrogen peroxide. Oh, hey, that the dish soap? Forgot to grab some.
Yeah, just about done with...
Slow ass. Look, man,
The other was just being playful, but he chose the wrong day to do it. As he snatches the dish soap from Jack's hand, he looks down at the bucket and sees the bomb floating there. His smile turns to confusion and then concern. He freezes in place a moment before looking back at Jack with a question all over his face. Jack's face changes completely, shadows enveloping his expression, a smoldering fire igniting in his eyes. Before the janitor can even yell out, Jack punches him precisely in the throat and his body crumples down hard. Jack heaves him up and tosses him into the nearest stall before getting back to it. He doesn't have time for any slip-ups. The assassin keeps his eyes low, watching tile after tile pass by, pushing his wheeled bucket in front of him. The guards pay him no mind. After all, what reason do they have to suspect a lowly janitor when their security system is theoretically foolproof? That theory, in practice, has clearly been broken. The man walks on instinct, having spent near a month memorizing the prison floor plan he snatched up from the dark web. C-block's what he wants. It's just a few corridors away. He picks up the pace a bit, but stops dead in his tracks when he hears his name called out behind him.
Adler!
Yes, sir?
You all turn around! B-block's that way! We need all hands on deck after the fight this morning!
But I was told to clean up some vomit in C-block first.
In case you forgot, I'm the foreman here. You do as you're told. Who the heck's got you cleaning C-block anyhow?
The warden got to me personally, sir. If you want, I can head to B-block and you explain to her why...
No. Get to C-block. Quit wasting everyone's time. Soon as you're done, you get your butt to B. Got it?
Of course, sir.
The foreman doesn't raise any more of a fuss. The assassin knows the warden's reputation around here. She quite literally shoved a guard out her window for questioning her orders once. Leg was broken in 2 places. The assassin finally reaches his destination, C-block, where war prisoners are held. Jack starts nonchalantly mopping the floor, passing by a few of the cells. The occupants either eye him curiously, yell obscenities at him, or don't pay him any mind, like notable prisoner Baron von Strucker pent up in his own cell, too important to waste his time on a lowly janitor. Jack ignores it all, pushing closer to his target. He stops in front of a lone cell, a man cloaked in shadows looking up at his visitor without much interest.
Come to gloat? Spit in my face for your Jew grandma I killed in the camps? Feel high and mighty? Ask if I feel guilty? Keep marching, worm.
Without breaking eye contact, Jack peels back a bit of his fake skin and breaks the voice modulator. His target stares, stunned and morbidly curious, stepping into the light. His face is lined with wrinkles, his white hair recedes, an unkempt beard hides a weak jaw. Ex-Hydra Commander Werner Reinhardt.
I came here for answers. Where is he?
That voice, it is familiar. Who's behind that mask?
The assassin turns, making sure no one else is watching them, and then rips through his silicone face horribly, massacring his visage until his true face shows. A man with piercing, hollow blue eyes, a 5 o'clock shadow, and an unfeeling, stone-carved expression.
My God, you're still alive.
You know what I'm after. Tell me, or I cut your life sentence short.
Please, you'd be giving a man freedom.
It'll make your life sentence worse. Be breathing through a straw, begging for me to finish it. But I won't.
Even if I knew where he was, why should I tell you, I'm loyal till the end.
The assassin turns away from Reinhardt and reaches into his wheeled bucket, unzipping the plastic bag.
Why should it matter to you? You can't change what we did to you. We ripped out your humanity long ago.
I know. I'm just doing what you taught me.
The assassin turns back around with the armed time bomb, steadily ticking. The Nazi's eyes widen as his visitor sets it on the floor just out of reach.
Guards! Guards, quick! There's an insane man!
The assassin hits the deck just as the bomb goes off, completely disintegrating the former Reinhardt and blasting a hole clean through his cell out to the open air. Alarms blare out, footsteps clamber, the shock of the moment giving the assassin a chance to run through the smoke and make his exit an inconvenient nearby manhole, like dust in the wind, as if he was never there. Well, almost. Most of the prisoners didn't pay him much mind, but in the commotion, one man spotted the assassin, Baron von Strucker. His shocked expression plastered all over his face. She hadn't put on a dress in ages, not like this anyway. Not as a cover to get into a masquerade ball to steal some dossier on a superweapon, or worse, putting a bullet through a foreign dignitary's eyes. No thigh holster tonight. It's a date night with a friend of a friend. Not that Natasha had many of those. First, as a spy, she couldn't get close with anyone, and now as a public-facing superhero, not much has changed. Sure, she could walk down the street and hardly anyone would bat an eye who'd suspect their next-door neighbor of being an Avenger. But the intelligence community knows all about her now because of it. Getting a date shot as a collateral is not a good way to get a second date.
What are you even doing, Natasha?
She stares at her reflection as she fusses with her long red hair, piercing green eyes watching her every move. There's a cold deadness hanging in the rain clouds in the green of her irises, the eyes of a killer. No matter how hard she tried to wipe away that fact, her hands would always be stained red. An anxiousness starts to eat away at Natasha the longer she looks in the mirror. She finally pulls away. She lets her mind wander away from her inner darkness, back to her date with... Wendell, was it? What lie would she have to tell tonight?
Oh, thank God. Fury?
Never a day off, huh?
What's on fire now?
Section 45. Someone, somehow, bypassed all our security measures and vanished, like a ghost in the wind.
High-class professional. Doesn't sound Avenger-worthy yet, though.
That's why I'm calling you and not the captain. Your old pal Strucker seems to know something. Only usable element of CCTV we have is his reaction. He knows something about what's going on.
What exactly happened?
Not over the phone. Be at the yard in 15. We got a nice, cozy interrogation room for the Baron.
Copy that.
Natasha quickly slips into something more comfortable, arms herself with her stingers just in case. She hops into her sleek sports car and drives off in a hurry, making it to the yard in no time flat. Fury waiting patiently for her once she walks in the second entrance. The place is whirling with all sorts of sensors and gadgetry. Only the most trusted step foot in here.
What's the situation?
Guy disguised as one of our genital staff, Jack Adler, shows up for work, perfect facial and vocal recognition, car passed the weight test, went through the metal detectors without a problem, strolls into our nice collection of war criminals and blows up Werner Reinhardt, making an escape into the sewers.
Reinhardt? Wasn't he running a camp during World War II?
He was under Hydra's thumb. Helped with the initial Red Skull experiments. Or that's at least what Zola told us, when he briefly joined the fold. We lost track of Reinhardt until all that business with Watchman in the 60s. Caught him, held up in Argentina too, and the rest is history.
They must have been thick as thieves. The architect of the final solution and the guy that gave Mengele a run for his money.
Oh, you have no idea.
So is this some kind of revenge killing then? Someone went through an awful lot of trouble to kill him.
Like you said, this was completely professional. Meditated, likely for months. This guy had access to tech we got less than 3 years ago. No room for emotions. At least from the trigger man.
So you want me to find this ghost in the wind and trail him back to our possible big spender? If there even is one?
Exactly.
All this for a dead Nazi.
This could be the start of something. A new rogue nation or intelligence organization, or even a new sect of Hydra.
I get it. This guy broke into one of our mid-level prisons. Who knows what else he's capable of, or if there's something larger at play.
And now you get to talk to your favorite fascist.
This night just keeps getting better and better.
Strucker's bald head shines under the harsh spotlight in a lone interrogation room. His wrists start to redden with how tight the cuffs are. His back aches from the poorly constructed metal chair he sits on. But he puts on his stoic face. He wasn't going to give them an ounce of satisfaction. He could sense eyes lingering on him from behind the one-way mirror. Soon enough, the door to his left creaks open. A flash of scarlet comes into view. Natasha Romanoff. He smiles with sincere malice. This is going to be fun.
I was wondering when the traitress would return.
Pleasant as always, Strucker. Let's cut to the chase. You know something about the prison assassination.
Perhaps I do. But as far as I'm concerned, I do not owe you or your simple-minded superiors a zing. What exactly could you offer me? Freedom from my no doubt several life sentences. That's a pipe dream.
You're right. You're stuck in here for whatever's left of your miserable life. But what condition you're in remains to be seen.
Like they'd let you rough up a high-value asset such as myself. Intimidation won't work on me when there is no real stakes, Romanoff.
As far as Fury is concerned, nothing's off the table as long as you're still breathing by the end of this. Hell, R&D's working on a way to upload human consciousness into a database. Want to be their first test run?
I thought that's amusing, but...
A knife slams into Strucker's hand without warning. The cold flash of steel reflects in Natasha's swirling green eyes. Blood begins to pool liberally on the metal table as Strucker struggles.
You read my file. You know what I'm capable of. Start talking or I'll show you exactly what the Red Room made me into.
It is merely pain. All I have to do is endure with locked lips. Eventually I'll pass out, and you will have nothing!
Natasha gives him a cold, dead smile.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no point.
The knife slides out slowly from the Baron's hand. He winces as he feels it slice deeper all the way out. Natasha bends over and fishes out a file from her bag, still smiling. She flips it open for the Baron to see. At first, he's confused.
What? So I don't talk and I get sent to some undisclosed location, slowly losing my mind in agonizing loneliness. My resolve is strong. Again, you have nothing over me.
I'm surprised you don't recognize it.
Should I?
Natasha catches a glimpse of fear in his eyes, only just for a moment. She notices his upper lip twitch ever so slightly.
It's your childhood house in Hamburg. Before the CIA swept your father up in the dead of the night and you never saw him again. Your mother couldn't stand it, so she took you and your sister to France. And it remained unoccupied. Well, until recently. Now it's in use as a Hydra safe house. Fortified with the best technology money can buy. Or so you thought.
She casually flips the page and Strucker's eyes widen when he sees what's next. She revels in it.
You bastards.
These two look familiar? S.H.I.E.L.D. busted your little bunker pretty easily last week. Wondered why you didn't receive that weekly Wednesday correspondence from your wife? Obviously we knew about that. In fact, you let us write to them. You're not as smart as you claim to be, Baron.
If you touch a goddamn hair on there...
That's up to you now, isn't it? Talk.
They say you're a hero now. A joke. You'll never be anything more than what Red Room made you.
Natasha's fierce green eyes stare unwaveringly back at the Barons. She can see the cracks forming. She already knows she won before Strucker even opens his mouth again.
He doesn't exist. At least, not in any official record. He's an unholy force of nature. A ghost. They call him the Winter Soldier. What Hydra knows about him is mostly speculation. Few are left from the time of his creation. He's unstoppable. Once he's on your tail, it'd be better just to pull the trigger yourself. They kept him in cryostasis. Rumor has it he was a pet project of Heinrich Zemo and Arnhem Zola themselves. The Eternal Soldier.
I find that hard to believe. There would have been records. I know how anal you Hydra stooges are.
It was before my time, but some of the old commanders whispered at night. Stories about working with him, saying he was more machine than man. Rumors about his identity. Some thought he was a clone of Steve Rogers, the son of the Red Skull. The only thing they knew for absolute certainty was they weren't getting their answers. The old facility where he was housed was destroyed in the middle of the night. Some kind of bombing. Some assumed he was killed in the process. Clearly, they were fools.
And where's whatever remains of this facility?
It's a bombed-out crater, Romanoff. You're not...
I'd like to see for myself.
Siberia. Approximately 61 degrees north, 105 degrees east.
What's this got to do with Reinhardt? Was this Winter Soldier connected to him, or is he just somebody else's brunt instrument?
That I do not know. Besides, you have to pull your weight too, don't you? A pleasure, Romanoff. But if I find out my family's being mistreated by your dogs in any way, I will break out of here, and you will be the first one I'll be visiting.
Natasha doesn't look back as she enters back out. She isn't surprised to find Fury waiting for her with the patience of a statue. She doesn't pay him much mind, her own thoughts running around in her head as the pair continue forward together.
We've got a full division trying to crack it, looking for even a fragment of his face to scan. A reflection, background, partial from a selfie, anything. It's like he's immune to the 21st century. You got anything useful out of him?
Not much, but it's a start.
Where are you headed?
First, home to get my thermals. I'm gonna need them. Then, Siberia.
You sure that's wise? Walking straight into Red Room territory? With your reputation?
Who else can do my job realistically?
We could send Iron Man up north to do a sweep.
Tony? Please, he'd probably blow up whatever's left up there. Fury, it's me.
Fury stops and looks at Natasha with his one good eye. She's a weapon. She needs a target or she'll grow rusty in waiting. He sees the determined look on her face. The Avengers were a rush, but this is what she's meant for.
You get this handled before the Security Council meeting in a week, I'd greatly appreciate it. One less threat on the board, and they won't be breathing down my neck.
You got it, sir?
Send me a postcard, Romanoff.
Mere hours later, Natasha finds herself in the pilot seat of a new Quinjet prototype, new cloaking technology making it impossible to be picked up by any radar around the world. She's putting a lot of faith in it, too. The list of people who want to kill her so near to her home country is miles long. She can't help but feel the pangs of negative nostalgia being so near to Russia again. She hasn't been back in over a decade. She doesn't even know if her old house still exists, where her mother is. This high up in the sky, she remembers the first time she ever left, just barely 13, both her and Ophelia scared out of their minds for what awaited them. All that training and you still never feel prepared. But when Ophelia took her hand, for a moment it felt like everything was going to be all right. Natasha still feels the loss in the pit of her stomach every time, but there weren't any tears left. She sees her reflection in the windshield, fierce, unwavering, dead. She shakes out of the rain cloud as she nears the coordinates Strucker gave her, looking down at the ground several feet below, cold, desolate, pure white, not a single sign of life for a while, until she looks just ahead. A steel gray crater, a few thousand times over rusted beams poking out from the snow heap. The remains of the old Hydra lab, so Strucker wasn't bullshitting her. She sets the craft down some distance away. She doesn't know what waits for her, but she certainly wants as much of a stealthy entrance as possible. The cruel wind whips by, the bitter, dry cold already freezing Natasha's breath as she grabs her gear. Infrared snow goggles, a small survival kit with the essentials just in case, including a shield homing beacon the size of the button, and, of course, guns. A custom snow camo M16 and a Sig Sauer P365X macro. Good stopping power in a small package. She grips the M16 as her eyes wander around the horizon and has her pistol strapped tight to her thigh. Taking in the last semblance of warmth in the Quinjet, Natasha steps out into Siberia. Her stealth snowsuit protected as best as it could, but its movability came at the cost of extra layers. The ice-riddled wind still cuts into, but it's better than nothing. They trained for this back in the Red Room, staying half-naked in baths of ice for hours on end, but that still didn't make it any easier. Natasha's boots crunch through the thick layer of snow as she keeps marching forward despite the elements. Other than the whipping wind, the eerie silence puts her on edge. She half expects Red Room assassins to launch up out of the snow and bury their knives into her. The attack never came. Soon enough, she makes it to the lab ruins, chunks of old blown-up metal just barely sticking up from the heavy snow. She pulls out a device from a side pocket, getting an X-ray of the area around her. At first, all she sees is nothing but snow-riddled soil and the remainder of an impact crater. Maybe the Baron was right. Maybe there really is nothing left of the old lab. She does one final sweep, about to give up as her hands quickly ice over when she spots it. Some sort of old security hatch deep beneath a layer of snow. Given the harsh climate of Siberia, that could mean it's been unopened for days, hours, sometimes even minutes, depending on the snowstorm. That's as far down as her device shows her. She'll be going in blind the rest of the way.
It had to be Siberia.
Natasha gets to work, digging into the snow and starting a fresh pile, thinking about taking a month-long vacation somewhere tropical after all this is done with. Maybe Brazil, she muses. It doesn't help that the elements work against her, a constant rain of snow slowing her progress, but eventually she uncovers the hatch. It's simple, but definitely sturdy. This is where they must have kept the big secrets. It'd take way more firepower than Widow has to bust this thing open. There's a 30-character keypad protecting it from intruders. Luckily, Natasha's snowsuit came equipped with all the standard gadgets and gizmos Spy needed out in the field, including a decoder. She wires it into the keypad and does its magic, running through thousands of combinations in mere seconds. With a dramatic click, the hatch opens.
Ophelia would have loved all of this.
Cautiously, Natasha creeps into the newly opened entrance, senses on high alert for any traps. She shuts the door behind her and lets her eyes get used to the darkness before she continues forward. It's too risky to pull out the standard issue night vision goggles. If anyone was down there, they could easily turn on the lights and blind her momentarily, giving them all the advantage they'd need to get in a few good hits. The place creaks and moans, sending a shiver down her back. It's like the place is haunted. She feels like she's being watched, followed, but there's no one there. Natasha fights to keep her nerves in check as she descends deeper into the facility, the whole place rusted and covered in cobwebs, a few of the remaining unfrozen pipes dripping down murky water. The facility is definitely abandoned, but there still could be useful information. The stairs finally end and she finds herself in the very heart of it all, a hub of sorts with all manner of 80-something terminals. The dust had dust. The room's completely rounded with 4 branching hallways. Natasha doesn't like the idea of going in blind. She hopes someone left behind a map. She begins her hunt, rummaging through a few of the old metal desks lying around. At first, she mostly just found scratch paper and loose trash, a family picture or two faded by long years, and an old letter from one of the desk jockey's wives. Nothing very helpful for a while, until she checks the desk furthest from the stairs, finding a few spare wrappers and a crumpled up map.
Thank you, Bjorn.
She flicks on a small flashlight from her belt and examines the plan. The hallway directly in front of her leads to a mostly storage wing. Could be some useful intel in there, but the hallway to her far left interests her far more. The lab's in some rooms solely labeled as restricted. Obviously, Bjorn wasn't a high enough level to be privy to whatever's in there. Natasha draws her pistol and turns off her flashlight, creeping forward in the eerie, enveloping darkness. Her senses stay at high alert, waiting for a surprise attack or some kind of booby trap. It never comes, but she still has the feeling she's being watched. Maybe it's paranoia, but over the years she's learned to trust her instincts. As she passes by a pitch-black room, the lights suddenly flicker and short, Natasha instantly aiming her pistol. In the brief flashes, she sees a horrid sight, the operating room. Looks like a leftover scene from one of those overly gory horror movies, decrepit and moldy, dried blood splattered on chipping tile, and the operating table in the very center, more like a torture rack than anything of comfort. Whatever the hell they were doing here, it wasn't good. Hydra's own pet monster. Natasha stays in place a little longer, making sure the room is clear before she moves on. The one thing that sticks with her, however, the power should be off if it even works at all. There must be someone else in here. Her pulse quickens.
What's this?
Natasha makes it to another door and feels the placard to its side. There's no indentation. This must be the secret room on Bjorn's map. She jiggles the handle, but it's locked. Electronic lock with a failsafe if the power went off. This certainly isn't a janitor's closet. She pulls out her lockpicking kit and gets to work, sliding the pick on the pins, trying to get the right configuration.
Come on.
But then, she raises an eyebrow. She feels the pins shift, not because she got the right fit. They changed. The lock was self-changing. There's no way to crack it. Well, at least not a stealthy way.
Fine. Be that way.
Natasha pulls out a small thermite puck the size of a quarter and places it on the lock. In an instant, it ignites and burns straight through, bright light piercing the darkness. She loses whatever element of surprise she had. Hopefully it's worth it. The door practically collapses forward without its lock, revealing all its secrets. The place looks like some sort of archive space, dust coating filling the cabinets. Not much else taking up the room besides a spare desk. Time for a bit of reading. Natasha flips through some of Hydra's darker, well-kept secrets. Their involvement with the uranium hostage crisis, Grenada, even a little unused plan for JFK. Guess someone beat them to it. Most of it proves Hydra's involvement in some of history's darkest moments, but none of this was leading them closer to this mysterious assassin. None until she reaches the very back middle of the filing cabinet.
Winter Soldier Initiative.
She pulls it out and starts unpacking it, noting a fading red star at the front of the manila folder. The first page is scribbles in German. Not a problem for her. The Red Room supplied her with near-fluent knowledge of 7 languages. It appears to be an early draft of some sort of formula. exponentially increasing strength, stamina, and fortitude, similar to the concoction still pumping through Captain America's own veins, but there's a noticeable difference. Whoever created the formula mentions more than once about its control over the patient, altering the brain chemistry to basically cut out their free thinking. Pretty sinister. She flips the page and is surprised to see an old picture of the Winter Soldier Initiative team, all stern-faced and in lab coats. One face sticks out right away, a young Werner Reinhardt. The pieces are all starting to fall into place. But then, in a blink of an eye, she sees subtle movement behind her in the reflection of the filing cabinet handle and ducks and rolls on instinct. A single bullet careens right where she was moments before and punches a hole in the thin metal of the cabinet. Widow bites past her shock and fires a few rounds in retaliation, but they only hit dead air. Her target's reflexes are even better than hers. Another bullet speeds out of the darkness and hits its mark, slamming into Natasha's shoulder. Her vision blurs with tears, but she lets her other senses kick in. This guy wants answers. He could have easily splattered her brains on the filing cabinets. That's at least something. She hears the creaking of leather boots, the subtle click of a pistol, and rolls out of the way again. The muzzle flash momentarily illuminates her attacker, a man with longer umber hair and a black bandana covering most of his features. She's guessing this could be Hydra's very own Winter Soldier. She kicks out as the bullet zips just above her head, her foot landing hard on his chest, pushing him back into the wall. He doesn't show any signs of pain, instead grabbing Natasha's leg in an instant and getting ready to break it. Nat does a quick twist and propels herself off the ground, losing its grip. She lets her pistol fall as she throws a punch clean at the enemy's head, but he catches it with his hand. Natasha grits her teeth as her fist makes contact with cold steel. This guy's got a metal arm. She feels her hand slowly being crushed, fractures threatening to break her bones into dust. She acts fast, sweeping his legs and whipping him up, first kicking off his chest to gain momentum to spin up and kick him hard in the head. The lethal combo slams him into the cabinet, at last putting a dent in her foe. She bends over to pick up her pistol again, but that was a mistake. Her foe recovers fast and tackles her into the door. Natasha clatters down with the soldier on top of her. She's instantly winded. She throws a few punches at his head as his fingers wrap around her neck. It's like he's made of concrete. Nothing seems to faze him. Natasha can feel her windpipe beginning to collapse as blood flows from her wound. She looks up into her attacker's cold, dead blue eyes. Perhaps her initial analysis was wrong. He didn't blow her brains out because that's too easy. He's a savage animal that enjoys killing with his own two hands whenever possible. Her vision starts a vignette, seeping into darkness. In one last-ditch effort, her hands fumble around to her belt, desperately searching for anything that would help. Her fingers snatch a small metal cylinder, a flashbang. She closes her eyes hard and pulls the pin. She feels a massive flood of relief as the weight around her neck slips. Dazed, weakened, but still alive, Natasha pulls herself off the ground and gives it one last Hail Mary, rushing towards the bastard in a football tackle, thinking he's weakened enough for it to be effective. Instead, he dodges out of the way at the last second and trips her as she rushes past, sending her sprawling down hard into the secret archives.
Should have kept out of this.
The soldier menaces above her and pulls out a metal canister from his belt, some kind of grenade. Natasha struggles to get up on her feet, but it's too late. He pulls the pin and chucks it right beside her, striding out without looking back, slamming the door shut.
Shit!
Natasha acts quick, kicking it to the far corner and pushing back, rolling into a ball to protect herself from the blast. Instead of a resounding boom, the canister hisses and cracks, a wave of heat filling the building fast. Widow opens up and sees a flood of orange flame enveloping the room.
God damn it!
She painfully gets back up on her feet, all those old files going up in smoke. But that didn't concern her right now. All she wanted to do was not become a cindering pile of ash. She dashes for the door, expecting it to swing open with ease, but instead it's jammed. The soldier must have crushed the handle with his metal arm. It wouldn't budge. She throws herself at the door a few times, fighting through the pain. No such luck. It's too heavily enforced. The flames draw near, engulfing everything in its path. Sweat flowing liberally down Natasha's face. She looks around wildly for any sort of escape. A vent in the far left corner. Flames start licking over to it. She has to hurry. She runs by the burning desk, something catching her eyes.
Shit!
The Winter Soldier file, all but burnt to a crisp. She tries to salvage what's left, a lone picture of all the heads of the project nearly destroyed. She bats the fire off of it, most of its occupants long gone. All that remains is the guy in the far right. It'll have to do. She stuffs it in her pocket and makes her way to the vent. It's too high for her to jump to, so she desperately pushes one of the remaining filing cabinets to it, hot to the touch. Her body feels weak, broken, but her survival instincts are kicking in. She's focused, determined. She pulls herself up, shoulder practically on fire from that gunshot wound, but it beats being burned alive. She yanks the grate off the ceiling and pulls herself inside the vent, flames dancing at her feet. Just in time, the whole room's engulfed in burning hot flames as she painfully crawls through the vent, just barely enough room for her whole frame. Her first encounters with the assassin was not great, but at least she has her next lead. Moments later, back in the Quinjet, Natasha has the heat blasting as she starts getting to work on that bullet wound. She pulls out the emergency medical kit in a mirror and props herself back on the co-pilot's seat. She grits her teeth as she slides her shirt off, dark red blood leaking down her chest. She forgoes any sort of painkillers. She has to feel what she's doing. Uncorking a small bottle of alcohol, she sprinkles it on her medical tools before dabbing a bit on her wound. She grabs the forceps and starts probing around in the bullet wounds, finding the leftover bullets soon enough. Her eyes water with pain, but she keeps her hand steady, grabbing hold of it, digging into the sides of her wound ever so slightly. She wants to scream, wants to collapse, but she powers through, thinking of all the terrible things the Red Room did to her as a kid. This was nothing. She yanks on the bullet. It seems to take forever to come out, but at last, the hard part's done. Natasha gingerly fishes out thread and a needle and stitches herself up with expert hands. She lets the thimble tumble down once she's done, catching her breath. It's personal now.
Bastard.
She stares at herself again in the mirror, seeing the burning anger and pain mixing on her face. Her eyes trail down her body, scars of her old life collected in surplus. Long cut down her side, bullet wound just past her lung, stab wound on her midriff. The way this mission's going, there's about to be a lot more where that came from. She carefully slides her shirt back on and moves to the center console, pulling out that nearly completed burnt picture from back in the archive. It's not much, but it's the only lead she has. Natasha hits a few buttons on the center console and the Quinjet's internal speakers begin to crackle.
Hill, you there? It's Nat, over.
Suddenly, a shimmering green holographic image projects out from the console. Maria Hill, one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s leading agents, sits before her. Short cropped hair, curious eyes, and an ever-present small smirk.
Loud and clear, Red. What's the situation in Siberia?
Made contact with the target.
I'll say. You look like shit.
Got shot, wanna see?
I'll pass. Need evac? Reinforcements? I got the Hawkeyes on speed dial if you don't mind teaming up with the old fire.
I need a name. Sending you what's left of an old photo.
Copy.
Natasha presses a few more buttons on the console and places the charred remains of the picture in the tray. In an instant, Hill's terminal has a scan and fires up a facial recognition program, speeding through tens of thousands of results in the blink of an eye.
How's the other guy looking?
He's tough. Professionally trained, barely a scratch on him. He's got some sort of prosthetic too. Nearly choked the life out of me.
Sure you're up for this? We can pull you from the op. Get an enhanced in. Johnson's been itching for something.
He got me once. I'm not making the same mistake again.
Just don't do anything reckless. I'm not attending a funeral anytime soon. Facial rec's back. We've got a potential start to a pattern here. This guy's also ex-Hydra. Leopold Zola, son of that bastard Armin. We were never able to nail anything solid in Nuremberg. Swept a few things under the rug for him in order to get Zola Sr. on our side during Operation Paperclip. We lost him for a while. He went deep cover in the mid-10s, but he surfaces every now and again. You're in luck too. We've been getting partial hits in Venice over the past year. Most recent one CCTV of him leaving some gun shop called Merchant of Death about a week ago. He's not our top priority. As far as we can tell, he quit Hydra back when Trucker took over in the 90s. Looks like the past has come back to haunt him, though. Better hurry off before he becomes a cold corpse.
Don't suppose you can recreate the burn edges and get the rest of these guys?
Where's the fun in that? That'd be too easy.
Figures.
Have fun in Italy. Buono fortuna.
Maria Hill holds for a moment. Natasha can see the concern in her eyes before the hologram blinks off. She almost considered taking Hill up on that offer of backup, but this has to be as surgical and incognito as possible to not tip off the assassin. The Avengers are far from that. She doesn't have much time. She steels herself, hits a few of Quinjet's controls, pulls back on the stick, and blasts off into the dark, cloudy sky. It only took about 4 hours to reach Venice with the Quinjet's high-tech ion engines, but it felt like days with how much Natasha is dragging. She already popped 2 caffeine pills, but that adrenaline shot in the medkit was looking real enticing. She parks the Quinjet in S.H.I.E.L.'s secret stash house on the outskirts of the city, retractable roof scanning the Quinjet's IG chip and opening automatically. By design, the exterior is of little interest, chipping terracotta with a few grimy windows, but the inside could not be any more different. Slate black walls, spacious weapon lockers, and state-of-the-art computer terminals all neatly laid out beside the landing pad. Natasha stretches as she exits the Quinjet, a small smile forming at all of it.
Time to do a little shopping.
She definitely doesn't need her thermals in Venice. Finds a nice summery outfit in a nearby supply closet, a cream-colored blouse and black bell-bottoms. Lightweight but sturdy, made with some composite material they cooked up back in the lab. Not strong enough to stop a gunshot straight on, but enough to hold off a knife. She completes the ensemble with purple-tinted glasses, able to pick up heat signatures through 10 feet of concrete, capable of 25 times zoom, and built in with a listening device that works up to 15 feet away from the desired target. Natasha looks at herself in the mirror and smirks.
Well, I'll certainly fit in.
She ties back her hair in a ponytail before she moves on to her favorite part, weapons. She picks up a fresh charge pack for her stingers, hidden just under the cuffs of her blouse, before moving on to firearms. She needs something light and concealable, yet adaptable. She selects a short carbon fiber pistol with a few attachments just in case. An extended barrel, stock, and scope, able to turn the simple pistol into a glorified sniper rifle. She packs it all up in a black leather purse, thin coating inside able to trick metal detectors and x-ray machines alike. It pays being a spy working for S.H.I.E.L.D. Back at the Red Room, they were left with crumbs from the decommissioned KGB armory. Time to play Find the Nazi. She lets herself smile, the warm Venetian sun dancing on her skin. Such a nice change from the harsh, whipping winds. She hasn't been back to Venice in quite a while, but depending on how this mission goes, she wouldn't mind retiring here sometimes. She's hardly even 30, but what she's been through makes her feel thousands of years older. It'd be nice to find a new purpose. These days, she just rolls out of bed at 2 a.m., ready for the next mission, surviving more than living. Maybe she can paint sunsets, make wine, find someone. That makes her feel a pang of loneliness. It's always with her, coming and going like the tides. But even now among the various vagabonds strutting around the streets of Venice, she's alone. Maybe that's what life wants for her, even if she doesn't want it herself. She finds Merchant of Death soon enough, but hears a crash from inside. It seems she's not the first one in. She walks around the back and activates her sunglasses, seeing 2 heat signatures in some sort of back stock, and listens in.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I've never seen this man in my life.
Footage says otherwise.
Natasha's eyes widen a bit. That definitely sounds like her assassin.
You know how easy it is to doctor footage these?
Not. You're caught. Only one way out.
He'd kill me if I told you. Please.
I'll make it sore if you don't.
Alright, easy. He had me modify and upgrade his old stockpile. I finished his service pistol the other day. I think he was involved in some dark shit that hides underground. I don't know anything.
You know enough. Where's he held up?
It's a big old villa with dock access near Cristobal and Santa de Martin.
I'll find you if you're wrong.
The assassin's heat signature stands menacingly before the poor shopkeep before he starts striding away, but stops suddenly, as if hearing the subtle hum of Natasha's tech. She feels her own heart freeze, his head pointed right in her direction. Suddenly, he tears out of there. He has some sort of freak sixth sense. Her mind races. There's not much of anywhere to hide. She has to think quickly. Merchant of Death is a lone, rickety structure by the canal. Natasha hyperventilates before she dives in headfirst into the murky canal, forcing herself to the bottom quickly. The ripples in the water dissipate as the assassin finally makes it to the back. His cold, calculating eyes narrow as he scans the area slowly. Nat controls her breathing, holding it in with all her might. One stray bubble and he'll spot her for sure. He stands for an uncomfortably long time just above the canal, eyes still wandering. Then he looks down at the water, staring hard, waiting for the subtlest of movements. Natasha feels weak, her lungs are screaming for air, her vision is blurring, but her lips don't budge. Come on, this bastard just won't... But then she sees his shadow slowly fade away. She waits a little longer for good measure, fighting the faint feeling trying to drown her. Normally, for a job like this, she'd have anywhere from a week to a month to figure out the ins and outs of the hit's routine. But if she waits even a minute too long, it could spell doom for Zola. She's going off of a best guess based on what she knows about the assassin. He's motivated seemingly by revenge, yet it's not blind fury but calculated, likely to strike carefully in the dead of night where the shadows would be his friend. Natasha looks for her in patiently. Over the course of a few hours, picking up helpful details, the facade slowly cracking. Kitchen and house staff, all in black, shuffle around on predictable rotations. She hears a few helpful conversations on occasion, too. Two of the house staff take a smoke break just by the canal, giving her an idea.
He's really been up my ass, more than usual, about this whole thing today.
Anthony told me the same thing. Said the old bastard almost ripped his head off over the smallest stain on the tablecloth.
Ugh, I want out, man. I'm sick of this shit. I called Luigi earlier. He's trying to find me another gig. Fast.
Put in a good word for me. I'm about at my limit. I think he might actually be an ex-Nazi. No one's that into World War II. Especially not here.
Ex-Nazi? Do you ever really stop being one?
Devon, Margo, need your help with tables.
Whatever.
Natasha smirks to herself. Just a matter of waiting now. It's all in the timing. As the sun dipped down low, Natasha readied herself to make a move, both thankful and nervous she's yet to see any sign of her assassin. She knows he can't be far away. In fact, he might be held up doing the same thing she's doing, waiting for an opportunity. Whatever Zola's got going on tonight, it's started. People dressed in dark cloaks gradually start arriving on the scene, sneaking around to one of the back entrances. And just like that, her opportunity presents itself. You can always count on an addict to come back for more. The woman housekeeper steps out of the side entrance, half-empty pack of cigarettes in hand.
The fuck? Hey, is someone there?
Eyes narrowing, Margo slowly creeps forward, trying to tame her nerves. It's probably just a stupid alley cat, she reasons. And then she feels the sudden, sharp, pulsating twinge on the back of her neck before completely losing consciousness. Natasha catches her limp body before it makes contact with the pavement.
Sorry, you looked about the right size.
Like a spider with its prey, she drags the unconscious woman into the shadows and gets to work right away, stripping off the woman's uniform and quickly putting it on. So much for that composite blouse and those bell-bottoms, and an all-black polo and dress pants a fork could even stab her. It's the only way with her window of time. Distinguishing herself as a guest would be much harder. No one pays attention to the help except themselves, and she has a cover. She wraps her blouse around the unconscious victim and ties her up, covering her mouth with a strip of fabric. She'll wake up soon enough, but she doesn't want her spoiling the surprise too early. With that, she walks in the service entrance with confidence. She takes it all in an instant, waitstaff dashing about like a bunch of angry ants, fires blazing, savory smells wafting. The place looks 20 times better on the inside, like some fancy Venetian hotel. Dim lights, golden fixtures, cream-colored walls with little intricate designs, dark, shiny wooden floors. Zola's living well.
And who the hell are you?
He spoke in Italian, one of the handful of languages Natasha knew fluently, thankfully. She responds back perfectly.
Luigi sent me. It's my first night. Said a few of your staff are on their way out. You need all the help you can get.
He's right there. Now's not the time for handholding. It's a big night. You know what you're doing? Done this before?
Plenty.
Good. Start serving wine to the guests upstairs in the foyer. Spinagojo and Sauvignon Blanc.
Natasha nods like she knows what she's doing and wanders through the kitchen, collecting a tray. A few chilled bottles of wine, a set of crystal clean glasses, and set on her way. She expertly balances everything, muscle memory kicking in. The Red Room taught them ballet and circus tricks like the tightrope. They used to put smoldering coals below the wire for motivation. Ophelia used to have a burn scar on her back from that. She roams out into the grand foyer, even more decadent and ornate than the kitchen, tall, echoey ceiling held up by great marble pillars, glossy dark mahogany flooring, and more gilded chandeliers than needed. Guests milled around, chatting lightly or admiring the original Van Goghs lining the far wall. They've all shed their mysterious cloaks and are dressed to the nines. Men in well-tailored tuxedos, women in dresses that hug them tight, not leaving much up to the imagination. Natasha's eyes don't stay fixed in one place, however, scanning the guests, looking for anything suspicious. Her eyes wander up to the stained glass fixtures high above, searching for a glint of a scope or subtle movement of a sniper. Nothing so far.
Red, Pino.
Natasha's head snaps to an overindulged man, jacket buttons straining, sprints over and pours him a glass of Pinot. She places it in his outstretched hand. He doesn't even look at her, like she's nothing more than a wine dispenser. She keeps moving through the small crowd, commanded more than a few times for a cool glass of wine. Her nerves are on edge. This guy could be pretty much anywhere, or nowhere at all. Shadows stretch in, and soon enough their host toddles in, wiping a bit of sweat from his brow. All eyes turn to the man, a plump shape with a few wisps of hair left, a weird scowl on his face even as he smiles. If Natasha doesn't find his assassin soon, he could be gunned down any second.
Ladies, gentlemen, I appreciate you being here tonight. No doubt wind of my fine collection drew you all in, and I assure you nothing was exaggerated. My own personal collection of trinkets and artifacts scattered from all across time even rivals that of Aldrich Gillian. Him and his make-believe alien junk, the so-called Nine Realms, are a fabrication meant to distract from our own problems. Items up for auction today, of course, includes the great Baron Falsvert's rapier. Some of you know this man as Baron Blood, a top-secret dossier of some of my father's greatest work, a pistol that belonged to der Führer himself, and even a vial of the Hook's blood. Who knows? The scientists out there might be able to reverse engineer it.
Zola claps his hands, and two men come out holding a well-polished wooden crate. They open it before the crowd and display the shimmering rapier inside before closing it again.
So, how about we start at 500,000?
She sees it right away, eyes widening, the slight glint of the sniper scope in the far window. Black Widow acts instantly, diving towards Zola, tackling out of the way as the glass cracked, a bullet smacking down right where he just was seconds ago. He was a scumbag and probably would have deserved it, but the Avengers really got to her. She's a hero now. She rolls her eyes. Zola looks panicked, stunned, his two guards rushing over and drawing their weapons. Natasha's own gun had slipped out and clattered down loud in the chaos of it all. Zola's eyes shot to it.
Scheiße! She could be with some. Take her out! Get her off me!
I just saved your ass, ungrateful prick.
That didn't matter as Zola's hired thugs leer at her, pointing their pistols down at her skull. Natasha tightens her leg muscles, getting ready to do a spin kick when... His cover is blown now, no need for subtlety. The assassin blew a hole in the wall and leapt in as the breeze picked up a cloud of dust. The crowd swarms, running and screaming aimlessly, desperate for a way out of this madhouse. The thugs at least ignore her now, one firing shots at the assassin while the other helps Zola back up on his feet.
Go! Get to the dock! I can go!
A bullet slams clean through the thug's legs, and he stumbles over in a pool of crimson. Zola's heart nearly explodes as he sees the dark assassin stomp closer. The other thug drags him away, and Natasha can't believe she's helping a Nazi yet again. She leaps for her pistol and is just about to raise it up when the soldier's boot stamps down on it. He looks down with his cold, piercing eyes and kicks Widow in the end, dazing her. His gloved hand reaches down and lifts her up by the neck, choking her.
Thought I killed you already.
Gotta try harder than a little fire.
Effortlessly, the assassin throws her hard into a near table and it crashes around her in a shower of splinters. Dazed and with sudden roaring headache, she hears the assassin's sauntering footsteps among the swarm of fleeing party guests, Zola practically being dragged by his guards away. As his vision goes in and out, she's surprised that she doesn't hear any more gunfire. This guy may be a killer, but he's not a mass murderer. He has standards. She fights through the pain again, gritting her teeth as she pulls herself out of the wreckage, scoops up her gun, and pushes past the flood of people for Zola. Anger starts taking her over. She's more than ready to put this guy in the ground, but she has to be in control too. You get too lost in emotion and you may as well start digging your grave. Her legs are sore, her back feels broken, but she pushes forward. The sound of the crowd all but faded now that she's deeper in the villa. She's running down a long, tall, cobblestone set of stairs, echoing footsteps just ahead.
Almost there, sir.
Slow him down. Stop him if you can. I'm more than capable to walk on my own, damn it!
Yes, sir.
One set of footsteps trail off as the other haunts closer and closer. Before Natasha can make it to the assassin, she hears ringing gunshots, sees a bullet smashing into a near cobblestone, the quick, burning light of muzzle flashes, and then a pained cry. The assassin picks up the pace, and so does Natasha. She has to catch up before it's too late. She leaps over the bloodied body of Zola's former bodyguard, ducks out of the way last second as the assassin fires a bullet behind him. He really doesn't like interruptions.
Bastard.
She's caught off guard a moment when she hears the blaring roar of an engine. Zola made it to the deck. A sudden rushing sound of water lets her know he's racing out of the villa. She at last makes it to the bottom of the stairs, and so did the assassin. He's already climbed into another docked speedboat, cutting the mooring line with a quick swipe of a combat knife. He spots Natasha out of the corner of his eye and shoots off a few more rounds at her, just barely dodging out of the way again. She throws herself away from the dock entrance, finding cover just around the corner. She fires a few of her own shots at the assassin. Why should he have all the fun? They only crack his windshield, and he fires up the engine. Another rush of water, Natasha dashes in and tries to get another shot at his engine. The bullet skids by too late.
Damn it! Ugh, I hate boats.
In a rush, Natasha leaps into one of the few remaining speedboats, snags the keys, and kickstarts the motor. With one hand firm on the wheel, she starts the boat forward, a rush of spray splashing on the windshield. She pushes the engines harder, their whine becoming louder. She just has to catch up with the pair. Although he's several feet out, she can still just make out the terror on Zola's pale white face as he desperately tries to make his boat go faster. She needs some heavier firepower. At this range, her pistol isn't cutting it, and she left her extended barrel back with the unconscious waitress, all the good that did. She rummages around her boat and finds a spare Uzi. Not known for their accuracy, but a rain of bullets is sure to slow down the assassin. Bullets rain towards his speedboat as she starts getting closer, some space down into the canal while a few lucky ones slam into the side of the boat. Not enough to stop him dead in his tracks, but she's determined. Suddenly, Natasha sees the assassin pull out his very own Uzi. Guess they're standard issued, unfortunately. She ducks just before the bullet spray smashes her window to hell. A few pieces of glass zip by, one shard cutting her cheek, and she grimaces. If she loses any more blood, she's going to be completely drained. Once the hail stops, she returns fire again, this time close enough to shoot straight at his engine. A few initial shots take off its casing, but as they slam unrelenting into it, something gives. Smoke starts trailing out of the assassin's boat, and he looks pissed. Zola, on the other hand, feels a flood of relief as he starts putting more water between him and his would-be killer. Sparks fly and catch. The boat's good as sunk. Natasha tries to zip on by to leave the assassin to his fate, but what happens next she didn't even think was possible. In an insane leap, the assassin launches onto the bow of Natasha's boat, shaking it a bit from the heavy impact. Her pulse spikes as she fumbles around, trying to aim her Uzi and blast him off. But he's too quick. He leaps up again and knife kicks down into Natasha's stomach, throwing her off the controls and sending the Uzi into the canal. Her muscles are practically tearing themselves apart. Her bones feel heavy, but she feels a burst of adrenaline again. She's never giving up. She won't give him the satisfaction. She throws a loose fishing net at him, tangling her foe up momentarily. Without hesitation, she throws punch after punch as he tries to break free of the bindings. Her fist slams first into his head, then to his side a few times, Widow feeling his ribs give a little. Then the net finally snaps under the pressure and it's open season. Winter Soldier swings his metal arm straight for her head, but Natasha whips underneath and kicks at his leg. They trade blows, Widow putting up a hard fight, blocking punch after punch. The soldier can barely get in a solid hit. Natasha's an unrelenting storm, however, slamming her fist on his eye and disorienting him, kicking his knees to make his legs buckle and shoving him back into the edge of the boat. As he stumbles, trying to regain his footing, she leaps up and kicks him hard in the chest, sending the bastard overboard with a large splash.
Shit.
She saunters back to the controls and pushes the stick forward again, Zola well ahead of her now. But that's when she hears a harsh metallic thud and the boat starts shaking again. She looks over the sides and sees it, the Winter Soldier's metal arm gripped in tight. He's not giving up that easily.
Son of a bitch.
Pained and soaked, the assassin slowly climbs back up onto the boat, eyes practically glowing with rage. She's well on her way to being his nemesis. He's going to deal with her first before it's Zola's turn. A flash of an idea comes into her mind and she hates it, but it's the only way to at least slow down the assassin, especially in her condition. She prepares herself, trying not to think about how much this is going to hurt. Just as the assassin clambers back onto the boat, she spins the wheel hard to the left, nearly sending both of them overboard again. Before Winter Soldier gains his footing back, the boat careens into the canal wall and launches over, time freezing for just a moment, boat caught midair. And then a cacophonic crash and searing pain. Natasha carefully rolls into the impact. It could have been much worse, but her whole body feels like it's on fire. Before she can look up to see what happened to the assassin, she blacks out. The memory blows in like a snowstorm, wintry flakes dancing in front of young Natasha's eyes. She's back in Russia, and she's not alone.
Come, daughter. Quick. Do not waste time.
He speaks in Russian with his thick accent, little Natasha picking up the pace. This was before the Red Room, before all the scars, physical and mental, before she ever really experienced love and heartbreak. They continue their trek through a tall, dense forest, silence lingering between the two of them. She can see her breath more and more as they head deep inside. Suddenly, however, Ivan holds up his right hand and they stop in their tracks.
Do not say a word.
Ivan's eyes narrow and he scans the horizon. And then he stops, stands statue still, and unslings the rifle on his back with one hand. Young Natasha looks confused, but then she spots it. A small doe and her kids. Looks barely old enough to be a mom. The doe watches her surroundings as the young bucks prance around in the fresh snow. Natasha looks at her dad with horror, but his face is as cold as the weather.
Take the rifle.
Natasha hesitates, but she sees the anger building up in him. It feels cold to the touch as she lifts it up.
Small, slow movements. Don't alert your target. Aim small, miss small.
She presses the rifle on her face, closing one eye. The mother is magnified tenfold. So innocent, full of life.
Slow your breath. Place your finger on the trigger. Don't think. Act. Separate your feelings.
She can't. She can't help but think of the terror, the sorrow the little ones would feel when their mother falls down and doesn't get back up. Her hands are shaking, her breath erratic.
Natalia!
She lowers the rifle. The sudden hit knocks her down to the frosty ground, rifle slipping out of her hands. Her father towers over little Natasha, face red with rage.
We are hunters. We are at the top. You cannot have sympathy for lower beings. You are weak.
That snaps present-day Natasha out of her spell. Her head feels like it's split in two, her vision doubling, wobbling. She feels the heat of flames close, slowly raising her head. Her whole skeletal system feels shattered. She looks down at her body to make sure it's all there. Thankfully, her instincts had kicked in during the initial crash, and she tucked and rolled. She's all scraped up, her clothing is torn in pieces, bruises are no doubt forming already, but she's still got 2 arms and 2 legs. Carefully, she rises back on her feet, barely able to stand upright. She looks at the flaming debris of her boat, broken in 2, crashed into the side of a building. A few people watch in shock from behind cover. She can hear sirens drawing closer. What she doesn't see, however, is her assassin. Typical, he probably got out with no more than a scratch. She has to find Zola again, and fast. Her eyes wander across the canal and spots us both tethered at a pier. That's a good place to start. Regretting it almost instantly, she bursts forward in a sprint.
God damn it.
Unrelenting, she pushes past Zola's boat down the closest alleyway, eyes hardly staying in one spot for very long. He has to be here somewhere. She passes by shops and apartments, no sign of... Wait, something shimmering under the moonlight. Blood. A trail. It might be too late. Natasha follows it, blood rushing in her ears as she turns a bend. There's Zola in a crumpled up heap. She books it towards him and feels his pulse on his neck. It's weak.
Are you?
I can get him. I just need to know who he is or where he might be going next. Please.
There's no stopping him. He is dead.
You have to know something. Anything that might be useful.
Isabella de Luca. She's Austria. Find her.
The light in his eyes dims. He's gone. Natasha barely wastes time, feeling weak, tired, nearly broken, but she has to stay one step ahead of the assassin. She has to get him. Now she's pissed. It's the one thing keeping her upright. She goes back to Zola's villa and steals the old 1930s Rolls-Royce Phantom from his garage. Sleek, fast, and though blasphemous, has been upgraded and kitted out with the latest hardware. The shell was pretty much the only thing left from the 30s. She zips on out for the Austrian countryside, already putting a call into Fury.
Sit rep?
Still alive. He scratched another life off his list. Zola.
No great loss. Man's become a petulant slob, selling off his father's legacy one piece at a time. Who's next on the list?
He gave me a name before he bled out. Isabella de Luca. Couldn't find much in the database.
I can see. Went from Wildfire Keeper to Hydra. That's a weird pipeline. Worked on the field for a bit before she was terminated from their active agents list. Doesn't fit his MO. This assassin's only been going after the top shelf weirdos. Think Zola's pulling your leg?
I doubt it. I trust the words of a dying man, especially one that wants some post-mortem payback.
I still don't get the angle.
Either way, I'm about to find out. She's in some sleepy town just across the border from Italy. S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't even have an updated file on her.
I'm still having doubts, but I trust your judgment. You sure I can't convince you to get someone to switch off with you? Vital signs aren't looking good. Coasters could be ready in half an hour.
By which then we'll have lost precious time. No. And Coulson? Really? Isn't he just a glorified desk jockey these days?
You'd be surprised. You don't even have access to his full file. Ask him about Bolivia sometime. Serious, Romanoff. We can't lose you.
Didn't know you cared so much.
You're a Red Room assassin, one of the very best. Given the right set of circumstances, you could probably take out most of the Avengers single-handedly.
At the very least, Stark and Bishop.
You're a valuable asset.
Gee, thanks.
And who else could I convince to play poker with me? Hill? Her poker face is pathetic.
She gets that twitch in her left eye whenever she has a good hand.
Exactly. Be careful, alright, Natasha?
Try my best, sir.
The call ends and Natasha floors it, fresh Austrian air blowing through her hair. Her mind racing just as fast, trying to put all the pieces together. There's a notable difference crossing the border into Austria, the air cooling a few degrees. Those sun-soaked Italian vistas become large, stacked trees stretching higher than a lot of the buildings, the rolling fields of the Austrian countryside. She remembers back almost a decade ago when she and Ophelia ran a mission in an absolute blizzard. Their target almost got away because of it, but Natasha clocked in with a Hail Mary shot from her sniper. Ophelia nearly got frostbite. Nat never saw her more worked up than when she thought she was going to lose her toes. It was all worth it in the end, though, cuddling by a fireplace. Even now, she can still feel the flames dancing close and the warmth of Ophelia's body. She's struggling to stay focused, her mind wandering in and out of the memory as the pain starts overwhelming her again. She looks down at her torn blouse, red blood leaking at her side. She feels sick. Her vision starts blurring. She's fighting real hard, but her body's fighting harder. She has to be close to her target. She can just keep going.
Come on, Natasha, you.
The first thing she hears is roaring, crushing water. She opens her mouth to yell, but all that comes out is a stream of bubbles. Natasha's underwater. She's trying her best not to panic. She whirls around, trying to figure out where the hell she ended up, and then she sees it. A car slowly sinking down to the murky depths below. Not just any car. Her heart spikes and dread grips her. This can't be real. This can't be happening again. She propels herself forward, reaching the descending car, her nightmare coming true again before her eyes. Ophelia, the love of her life, trapped, drowning, breathing her last breaths just like all those years before. Natasha slams her fists against the glass furiously again and again. She can't lose her again. She needs her. She can't be alone anymore. Natasha shoots up, hands wildly looking for her gun. Where the hell is she? Light floods in. She takes it all in fast. Some sort of house. She's on an old, soft bed. A woman's approaching.
Easy. You were in a car crash.
Where's my gun?
In the other room. I can fetch it when you're better.
No time.
Natasha's eyes water and the wind gets kicked out of her when she tries to sit up. Her injuries are far worse than she expected.
You're as fiery as your hair. Relax a bit. Let your body heal.
How long was I out?
Almost a full day.
Shit.
There goes her lead and then some. DeLuca's certainly dead and then some if she really was the next target. Natasha looks up at her host for the first time, long graying hair hanging liberally, shimmering like a waterfall. A kind, tanned face, warm eyes, and a small smile. It can't be.
You're Isabel, aren't you?
Do we know each other? I'm old, but I'd remember someone like you.
No, this assassin, you're not safe.
Let me guess. The Winter Soldier.
How did you... Yes.
Hydra or Shield?
Shield.
Well, that's a relief then. For a second I thought I'd have to poison you. Tea?
Please.
Isabella smiles and walks into the adjoining room, a simple, small kitchen.
How does a woman your age get wrapped up in a world like this? You look far too pretty for brutal spycraft.
I could ask you the same. My father sold me to the Red Room when I was 4. Ended up here. You?
My parents died in a bloody revolution. Our side lost. Hydra provided me with an escape. It wasn't much for field work. I had a mind for strategy. Steady hand for surgery.
Your file said you worked on an animal preservation.
Honey?
Please.
It was another life. I liked taking care of them. That innocent look they had in their eyes. The unconditional love. I was helping, but then my own innocence was stolen. I couldn't look at the world the same. Still, I don't have the stomach for killing.
Isabella trots back over with a steaming cup of tea, a dark look lingering on her face now.
I know what you mean.
Here.
Thanks.
Good.
Very. You know what's coming here, though, right? He's unstoppable. Driven. You should run and hide as long as you can. He won't
come after me.
How can you be so sure? Zola
was always an idiot. A greedy little wart with half his father's intellect. He was allowed to piggyback off us because he was paying the bills.
You helped create him?
In a way, yes. I was his handler.
He's gone rogue. As much as I appreciate him cleaning house, we can't take the risk of having someone like him running around free. You understand, don't you?
More than anyone. Have, you ever loved anyone?
Once.
It destroys you, doesn't it? I saw a side of him few have. They saw him as a weapon. I glimpsed the singularity. He was gentle once. Kind, loving. Ash on it. He's been brainwashed again and again, losing more pieces each time. There's hardly anything left anymore. I know it's foolish, but I still believe there is a shred of humanity in there. But I also know what you have to do, too.
I don't see any other option. I'm sorry.
Who's he gotten so far?
Reinhardt and Zola, as far as we know. Who's left?
Huh. No one from the old program. Old age caught up to the rest before he could get them. You said you worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., yes?
Yes. Why?
He'll probably be after a higher up in your unit next.
Natasha's eyes widen. Her heartbeat quickens.
What? Who?
I don't know their name. But S.H.I.E.L.D. got their dirty paws on him near the end of the program, just before he was put on ice again. Some colonel made him shoot his own friend as a loyalty test.
I don't believe it.
There are good and bad people on both sides, dear. Surely you've seen it.
And you think this colonel is still alive? Still at S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's the only lead I know of.
The Security Council. That's where he'll likely be next. It's in a few hours.
Gingerly, Natasha gets out of bed and stabilizes herself with Isabella's help. She nods her appreciation and reaches down into her belt for her communication device, patching her into the S.H.I.E.L.D. line instantly.
Hill.
He's hitting the S.H.I.E.L.D. Security Council meeting next. I have a source that says his next target is likely one of our own.
Nah, this is one of the most secure meetings on the planet. I doubt...
Don't underestimate him. I've seen what he's capable of. Twice. Not to mention the fact that he broke into Sector 45 like it was nothing.
Alright, I see your point. We'll have a few extra security details patrolling. Where'd you get this intel anyways? Sure it's reliable?
It's all I got, and I trust her.
Not even a name? For all we know, this could be a false lead. The guy could be retired or dead.
Trust me, okay? She seems pretty sure.
Always. Trench isn't too far from your location. Call ahead and have everything ready for your flight.
See you in a few hours.
Natasha hangs up and mentally prepares herself. She could give it up, let someone else take this guy in. Any of the other Avengers could probably stand a fighting chance. But then what would she do? She's gone this far. She has to see it through, no matter the cost.
You can't seriously be considering this in your condition, dear.
I'm not. My mind's already made up.
But why? Haven't you been through enough? You look like warmed over sheet.
Just a minute ago you said I looked beautiful.
I was trying to make you feel better. The kindness of an old woman. But now I am serious. Let someone else take him in. He'll kill you.
This is the mission I was given. I'm not backing down. Call me stubborn or suicidal, but this is all I've got. If I die out on this mission trying to make the world a better place, I'd say it's worth it.
Take my car. Do what you must.
Thank you. Seriously. Do you have any suggestions on how to take him down?
He is cold, calculated. You get him emotional, and he's going to start making mistakes.
Natasha nods her thanks and carefully walks over to Isabella's garage, but stops before she crosses the threshold, a lingering thought holding her back.
Did you ever love anyone again? After him?
Did you?
Natasha stays in the moment for a few seconds longer before hopping in Isabella's old Italian-make car and zipping on out, the storm clouds still in her eyes. A few hours later at S.H.I.E.L.D.'s covert base in London, the Majesty Fury paces back and forth in front of an old statue of his former superior, Peggy Carter, carved brilliantly in a shining marble. He's tuned into his earpiece, rubbing his goatee.
Even with my access codes, you haven't been able to find a single hit? No overlap?
None, sir. Unless there's some black box buried deep, or flying blind. no one has any affiliation with the Winter Soldier Project. It wasn't even in our database until now.
Doesn't make any damn sense. You said Romanoff's certain about this.
Yes, and you know how she is, sir. Doesn't trust anything unless she knows without a question of a doubt it's a fact.
I trust her on this, then. There must be something we're not seeing here. Keep poking around. Tell me when you find it.
Roger that, sir.
ETA on Romanoff?
The trench says she's airborne now.
Copy. Fury out.
Fury feels a hand clamp down on his shoulder suddenly, but he doesn't jump. He turns to find the friendly face of Jimmy Woo smiling at him. They'd known each other for quite a while. In fact, back when Fury was a field agent, he used to be part of his outfit. Best hacker he's known. Now Woo is head of the cybersecurity division. These days, a war can be fought in office chairs. Together they step into what is basically a vault, bulletproof on the outside, high ceiling with a catwalk and a sniper watching over it all, eyes scanning each of the members of the Security Council. They knew this guy had tech that could change his appearance. Can't be too safe. Fury's fears were well-founded, though. The assassin himself waits in the shadows for the perfect moment to strike, and he's about to get it.
You're cleared to enter, man.
225 to Overwatch. Any change? Over.
Overwatch 225, no change in temperature, no additional heat signatures, negative on visual. Though I'm getting low-level static, hardly enough to raise the alarm. Over.
Source? Over.
Unknown. Possibly a device from one of the guests taking up some bandwidth. Over.
Try to pinpoint the source just in case. Over and out.
Guards circle around the vault in various corridors, constantly on alert, sidearms pointed ahead. They weren't risking anything. There's at least one guard at each critical point in the entire facility. Vital signs are monitored by Overwatch. If anyone's knocked out for even 5 seconds, they'll know and the guards will swarm the perpetrator. But the Winter Soldier knew all of this. He watches from the crack in the supply closet door, waiting for prey to spring his trap. He spots movement just outside. It's time.
423 to Overwatch. Investigating the sound in the supply closet. Over.
Roger 423. Proceed with caution 712. High alert. Over.
Bucket full. Over. Area clear. Over.
Copy 423. Over and out.
And that's the moment he's waiting for. Winter Soldier bursts out from behind the door, jabbing a syringe into the guard's neck before he can react. He's out cold in an instant, and Winter Soldier acts fast. He only has a few seconds. He slips off the guard's vital reader bracelet and slams his own scrambling device on the guy. Now his heat signature is completely invisible, and the Winter Soldier's is present. It's just a brief blip on Overwatch's side, and the guard doesn't even notice. He does, however, pick up on the subtle elevation of 423's heart rate as Winter Soldier swaps clothes.
423, getting a spike in your readings. Everything okay? Over?
Yeah, just
what? Over.
Thought I saw a rat. Over.
Cut the chatter. Understood, 423. Hey, I'm getting some interference in your rig. Report to the crow's nest and we'll get it sorted out. Over.
Copy. Over. Is that what was causing the static on your end? Over.
Not likely. Better safe than sorry, as you said. Over and out.
Winter Soldier blends in well enough with the guard force, or so he thinks. He nods at a passing guard as he walks towards the crow's nest, but Overwatch keeps a close eye on him through the security feed. Something's different about his gait. They're not leaving anything up to chance, loosening their pistol in their holster. Winter Soldier reaches the steel door and swipes his access card. The lock clicks open and he steps inside. The place looks like a closet from a sci-fi movie, cramped with all sorts of screens and various readouts. His focus is on the security guard, however. Well-built, tall, but there's something in his eyes.
Let's take a look at your rig.
He motions for Winter Soldier to step closer and he complies. The man reaches down and fiddles with his radio a bit, making sure that the wires are tightly connected. And that's when it happens. With the practiced hands of a gunslinger, the man draws his pistol and points it right at the assassin's chest. Winter Soldier acts surprised, though he saw it coming from a mile away.
Access code, now!
What the hell are you doing?
Following protocol.
That's as far as the guard gets. Winter Soldier slams his palm into the bridge of the man's nose, killing him instantly. He crumples down, the assassin hardly batting an eye as he walks over to yet another door with an electric lock in the back corner, his key up to the catwalk. The final step before he kills his next target. He slides his keycard into the lock, expecting it to open. Instead, he sets off a base-wide alarm. Idiot, he thinks. Of course, it's on a different system. He grabs onto the door handle with his metal arm. It nearly takes all his strength to rip it off and put the door open. He can already hear the pounding of footsteps. He doesn't have long. He climbs up the ladder steadfast, seeing a flash of movement just above. Without hesitation, a few bullets skid down at him already. Acting fast, Winter Soldier blocks the shots with his metal arm, loudly pinging off of him. To the guard's credit, he's unrelenting, not even considering retreating as Winter Soldier gets closer, nearly hitting his shoulder. With ridiculous speed, the assassin makes it to the top, grabbing the poor guard by the collar and tossing him down the hall. He hears the guard force burst down into the surveillance room. There's not much time left. For the first time, Winter Soldier's actions are truly motivated by pure rage. He doesn't care what happens to himself. He doesn't need an exit strategy, just as long as his target pays the price. He unclips a grenade from his belt, pulls the pin, and drops it down the hole, not looking back. It lands down on the dead body of a former catwalk sniper and lets out a resounding explosion almost instantly. Guards yell out in shock and pain, blown back away from the ladder. That'll hold them long enough. The catwalk is pelted by gunfire from down below. Most of the security council is gone. All that remains is fury, Weav, and a handful of guardsmen as the assassin picks up a fallen sniper rifle. He stands back in cover just enough that bullets skirt by him, raising up the scope, and the sniper slips out of his hands and careens down to the floor below. A newcomer stops him dead in his tracks. Black Widow.
Fury, go! I've got this!
Are you sure?
Go, now! Block off any escape routes! This bastard is done!
Natasha's momentary advantage is gone. The Winter Soldier rises back up, eyes looking venomous. He throws a hard punch at her, but she manages to dive out just in time. She knows if she takes one more serious blow, that's it for her. She kicks hard at his knee and drives a punch into his side, sending him stumbling a little. There's a brief flash of pain in his eyes. He's worn down just like her. He was hoping for a quick in-and-out job, but he's not getting it. She follows the combo up with a hard punch to the face, pulling down his face mask in the process. Shockingly, he looks so young, in his mid-20s at the latest. It's only his eyes that really show any sign of age. They're sunken in, dimmed. That brief shock cost her. His hand slams into the side of her head, dazing her. She falls down hard on the catwalk, Winter Soldier leering over her once again.
Why are you doing this? I can understand the revenge angle, but someone from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Winter Soldier glares down at her, lifting up his foot. He's about to smash her skull in. That'd elevate the pain, Natasha thinks grimly, but she's not out of it yet. She wraps her legs around his other foot and twists him with all her might, catching him off balance and slamming him into the railing. Natasha kicks up and takes her advantage by the horns, tackling him over the railing, his hands quickly grabbing onto the catwalk before he pitches over down to the ground. Hobbling a little, Natasha looks down at him, smirking.
Stand down and I'll pull you up.
Don't need your help.
With one strong swing, he aims a kick at Natasha. But she can see it coming a mile away, sliding out of the way with ease. Winter Soldier lands down hard on the catwalk and glares at her.
Isabel would hate you if she saw you like this. It's a good thing you didn't pay her a visit.
What did you say?
You heard me. Your old girlfriend admitted it. She never wants to see you again. You're a fucking monster.
Yeah!
That's it. Winter Soldier rushes forward like an angry bull. Natasha tenses her leg muscles, getting ready for her movement. Just as he's about to slam into her, she leaps and flips up above the assassin, kicking him hard in the shoulder. He grunts in pain, and just before he skids to a halt, Natasha adds insult to injury and slams her fist into the back of his skull. Painfully, Winter Soldier slams down hard to the catwalk, and Natasha pulls out a powerful electromagnetic puck, locking his arm in place. He flails around, trying to dislodge it, but it's no use.
You're wrong about this. All of this.
Oh yeah? How so?
You're on the wrong side. Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D. They're two sides of the same coin.
Natasha kneels down and grabs Winter Soldier by the ear, looking him in the eyes, scowling.
Who was your target?
The man at the top of it all.
Fury.
What?
She can't believe it. What the hell would Fury have to do with this? It was a move. Winter Soldier reaches down to his belt and tries to stab Natasha straight into the heart, but she sees a flash of motion, grabbing his wrist and plunging a knife into his side.
It's true.
Bullshit! That doesn't make any sense. I know why you're doing this. You're killing everyone who personally made you, but Fury wasn't even born yet.
You don't know who you're working for. It's a Hydra database. 021892. B321. It's corrupted. But what remains will make you see the truth.
Yeah? And how the hell do I know it's real?
You know what you're doing. You're smart, all things considered. You owe it to yourself to always look into it.
Natasha still glares at him, excited to finally see this prick behind bars. She reaches behind her and pulls out a pair of handcuffs, but she never gets to use them. Winter Soldier kicks her hard in the head and she tumbles down, concussed. Before she completely fades out, she hears the assassin talking to someone. The voice on the other side is oddly familiar. He's not acting alone.
Pull back. You're scrubbed from the mission.
I can finish this.
That was the direct order, soldier. Don't make me remind you what happens when you talk back.
Copy.
She tries to hold on, tries to fight her vignetting vision, but she's completely spent. She blacks out.
Easy, Romanoff. Got quite a week. Relax for once.
You know, I'm really tired of getting knocked out.
Good to see you back in the land of the living. We were beginning to wonder for a moment there.
Did we get him?
Slipped through our fingers, but we finally unraveled more of the mystery.
Natasha sits up a bit, heart pounding harder.
You know who he is.
We do. Thanks to that knife he left behind. We thought it was a mistake at first. We had to check it on multiple rigs, but it's true.
Who is it?
Captain America's old partner is back from the dead. Bucky Barnes.
Natasha's eyes widen, her brain having a hard time processing it all. How is that even possible? He looks so young. Even if his death was faked, he would be in his 90s practically. More importantly, how is Steve going to feel? His best friend turned into a cold-blooded killer, his humanity all but gone.
Where is he now?
That's the thing of it. We don't have a damn idea. He's a ghost in the wind.
They don't know she's there. It always makes her smirk thinking about it. One of the world's greatest intelligence bureaus, and she's hiding right under their noses. Deep within the yard, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s upstate New York operation, a woman with graying ginger hair sits behind a row of monitors, an eye patch covering one eye and a long scar poking out from under it. She watches the fight between Romanoff and Barnes again, eating it up. Beside her, a holograph suddenly pops up, an old man now in her presence. He's wearing some sort of outlandish high-tech spacesuit, colored striking greens and purples. His face is completely blue.
How are things progressing?
All according to plan. Rogers will be in the mix soon enough.
Not feeling any regrets for what's about to come?
As you said when you recruited me, it's a necessary evil. It's the only way to fix his godforsaken timeline.
I'm giving you a lot of trust here, Romanoff. Do not fail me, or the consequences will be unimaginably torturous.
Of course, Lord Kang.
The holograph blinks off, and a time-displaced Natasha Romanoff leans back in her chair, smiling a twisted smile. She's going to enjoy what'll happen next.
Don't lie to yourself there, you know you'd look great in my hand. I like to watch you climbing down to me, so come into my plan. Don't fight the temptation, I'm the double line in the sand. I knew you were coming into my side, it was only right, only right, only right, only right. So don't forget me. All my clothes be under my skin.
Natasha Romanoff isn't the type to just sit around all day and let others handle her mess. Just a few days after she was checked into her covert SHIELD hospital room, she comes walking out, bandaged, limping slightly, and otherwise battered but still determined. Both Fury and Hill urged her to kick back, stay at least a week, but they know they can't fight her stubbornness. A quick cab ride takes her to where she needs to be, Steve Rogers' apartment in Brooklyn, his old stomping ground. The place looks a bit on the dilapidated side. Tony offered him a penthouse, but Steve respectfully turned it down and wanted to make it on his own steam, snatch back a piece of his old life. The bricks were dark and worn, a few of the windows cracked, and the fire escape more rust than metal, but it has an air of nostalgia, of comfort. Natasha grits her teeth as she climbs up a few flights of stairs to Steve's apartment.
Natasha? Jesus. How's the other guy looking?
Like shit too, I hope. Can I come in?
Of course.
Steve waves Natasha into his apartment. The place looks league better than its exterior. Home decorating must be one of Captain America's other superpowers. It was all colored a deep creamy brown. A neat bookshelf piled in with leather-bound books stood aside the side wall. There's a comfortable felt couch in the center with an old TV and DVD player across from it. He even has a few well-kept potted plants for added color.
Sorry the place is a bit of a mess. Haven't had the chance to dust.
Are you kidding? It's spotless. You should see my place. I spend maybe a week out of the year there, and I'm sure as shit not spending it dusting.
So what brings you by?
Natasha's smile fades. The whole room seems to cool about 20 degrees.
It's your mission, wasn't it?
I went after some guy killing off old Hydra goons. Arnim Zola's son. It almost seemed like a blessing in disguise. But then their sights turned to S.H.I.E.L.D.
They think someone in S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra?
Not just someone. Fury.
What? No, that... He's a complicated man. He believes that the ends justify the means, but he'd never stoop so low. Where's the proof?
That's part of the reason why I came here. He said there's an old file corroding in Hydra's database.
Why else are you here, then?
Steve, I don't know if you'll want to hear it.
Say it. I'd rather know than be left in the dark.
The assassin. This Winter Soldier. It's him. Bucky's still alive.
What? No, that's... It has to be a mistake. He died right in front of me. There's no way
They ran several DNA tests on his blood. They all came up as exact matches. I saw his face. The serum they gave him must be keeping him young somehow.
It's impossible. It has to be some terrible Hydra trick.
I wish it was. Steve, I'm sorry.
Steve doesn't meet her eyes anymore. He stares unfocused at the floor. Memories flood back to him. Him and Buck on shore leave when he met that beautiful French woman. He wouldn't shut up about her for months. Even when they did a tour in the miserable rain-soaked trenches, he always had that smile. He can't be back, whatever this is. It's an abomination.
I need your help. You know him best. You're the only one who can find him and stop him.
If there's a mission, I'm there.
Steve, are you sure that...
I'll be fine.
His eyes say otherwise, but she doesn't push. Instead, she slides her backpack off, pulls out a laptop and fires it up. The two sit on Steve's couch as his eyes watch the screen flicker and flash with lines of code and new tabs opening. Natasha clicks on the file and it opens up immediately. At first it's just a black screen, but then it crackles to life, distorted, black crushed, but the audio's still clear. It looks like old salvage security camera footage. The details they can see of the location almost look like a hospital or some nursing home. The lights are dim, only the moonlight illuminating the scene. A figure suddenly stumbles in, clearly on their last leg. Back against the wall, the figure holds up a hand, as if asking for mercy. And that's when another figure steps into frame, stark, brooding, instantly recognizable, the Winter Soldier. He draws his gun, points it at the man, but he doesn't pull the trigger. There's hesitation. And then a familiar voice breaks over the comms.
Take the shot, soldier.
Natasha and Steve look over at each other, dark looks taking over their expressions. That's Fury, all right.
Do it, damn it! Take the shot!
Bucky?
The footage gets shakily, less stable, before cutting out completely. The silence between the two of them is deafening. All this time they trusted Fury. He's the one that put them all together. But it seems his past is far darker than they would have ever imagined.
If this Winter Soldier's after Fury, then so are we.